Frontline Chat with Harry Tanguy and Dave Wardell.
Whoa, what happened there? Sorry about that, guys. Hello, Finn. How are you?
We'll just blame the storm.
Oh, mate. Yeah, no, a whole load of links didn't work on the... So that one wasn't my fault. And the only thing I could do was just end it and start again. Unfortunately, about that with everyone.
Has Finn spotting some Christmas decorations? Is it too early for Christmas decorations yet? That's what we're going to discuss for the next hour. No, I'm joking.
That's...
Finally, Finn, I just need to show you this cute picture.
What's that? Oh,
the cat is in the bookshelf.
How come you've got a black and white cat? You've never had.
I've always had a black and white cat. That's
Have you?
Kitty.
Huh?
Finn loves her. Kitty hates Finn. But she trusts him enough to sit behind his bottom on the bookshelf. Hello, 5 minutes late. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Hope you're all with us.
It's disaster. No, we've got very few with us at the moment, so because they were probably all on the other one, which I will. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, look, we are on Facebook as well, so that's fine. Oh, and it's actually dictating what I'm saying as well on Facebook, which isn't a setting I put. I have to admit, I've had that before. Have you had that? People are saying, yeah, and it's definitely. So it's not something we put out anyway. Wow, we have 8 people now. Hey, 8 of the best people ever, clearly.
Exactly.
9th. I'm not looking. Oh, 9th. No, I'm not looking for number 10 to come along. They're nasty. They're horrible, number 10. Yeah, who are they? Who are they going to be? Who are they going to be? We've got a few subjects today. Still just 9 as people.
We have got a few subjects. First of all, there's Tia bringing my coffee. Well done, Tia. Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, Tia, do you want to give your 25 tricks of Christmas a plug?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She should give it later. Give it later because there's only 10 people. It's only 10 people because Tia, I missed up, or the computer missed up. I'm blaming it on the computer. There's only 10 people. So, are you able to come back a bit later when there's more people on? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, I do.
Oh, I nearly got away without doing anything for 10 minutes then.
Oh, mate. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just wondering why the following is so small at the moment, but
I can't see it. I know Katrina said that she's got it and she was on Facebook and waiting, but I can't see it on my Facebook. So I'm guessing that might be part of the issue.
Right. I think that might be the issue.
Finn.
Right. Okay. I need to make a decision because it's staying about 9. So there's obviously a bit of a unless we can put that link that is above. I don't know if that link is going to be the same one. It's not. Hang on a minute. Sorry, guys. If you can just bear with us a minute. We're just trying to figure out
when Harry's in charge of tech. Otherwise, this is what it would be like every single week. If someone put me in charge, that is what it would be like. So we'll leave Harry to do a bit of fiddling in the background. Nothing rude like the ending of Harry's broadcast last week, and we'll just show you the weather and play some elevator music.
Okay. My Facebook. Did you say yours isn't on Facebook?
I can't see it,
Dave.
I can't see it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking.
But Katrina's saying that she's on Facebook and watching it fine. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at yours and I can't
tell everybody
see it.
On Facebook to go to YouTube as that is working okay. Is someone's suggestion? So if they go to YouTube and search for Frontline Chat, they'll be able to pick us up there.
Yes, indeed. So, it's on my Facebook, but it's not on your Facebook, mate. So,
no, mate. If you're happy, it's there. I mean, do you mean on your?
No, I don't think it is on yours. I don't think it is on yours. I'm just going to go into yours.
See, this is Harry's. The start of world domination is just phasing me out of his life.
Mate, I'm just sending you a link on your on the WhatsApp, so you can add that. Don't put that on the screen for goodness sake, no. Oh no, you can't. That's good. Because there's a comment on that.
Oh, you've been rude.
Someone is.
Oh, right, yeah. Sophia has just said that the figures are low because it's not on my account, because you have like 8 people follow you, don't you?
Yours, I do. Yeah, I do, and I'm very grateful for all of them. I've got about 25.
This is what I mean. This is part of Harry's world domination.
Can you put your link? That link. If I send you that link on WhatsApp and you shove that on your Facebook, I'm gonna have to have a word with StreamYard, because I think they did this last time, didn't they? It says it's sharing it to your guys, and it's not. Anyway, we will get there eventually. I'm sorry about it. Right. We've got to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about muddy, wet spaniels. We're talking about social media and policing, because it's an anniversary of that. And Storm Arwen, and Harper's Law, of course. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's for sure. Numbers are creeping up here on this one. Otherwise, just put YouTube. That's what we're going to be doing. So let me see. There we go. Your channel.
Right. What should we talk about?
We're going to talk about the meaning of life.
First of all, I'm going to show you this.
No,
I think it's very apt. Gemma's just found it because our house is in turmoil at the moment because we're having some building work done, and she found this, and I thought it was absolutely spot on for this week.
What is it? It looks like wood or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's laser.
Laser
etched or something. I believe Mick had this made. Yeah, he did. Had this made a few years ago, and I think it's really out the moment because Finn's. The boy never shocks me. Never ceases to shock me and surprise me. He's pushing really hard. Anybody who saw the video that we posted earlier on of Finn and his recovery, he's doing well.
Yeah, he's looking really good, isn't he? Let me see.
Got a long way to go. But I must admit, we do tend to put the good stuff on. So, some days he does struggle to stand up without any help, but he's not giving up. He's pushing hard. And as I say that, he's off round the man cave looking for whatever dog treats he can find. Cheeky little monkey. So he's doing very well. He had his high physio the other day, and here he is. Yeah, doing his.
He looks really good, actually. He looks really mobile, mate.
Aren't you, Finn? This is the stage where
numbers are coming up. Thank you for all those who've just joined us. It was a technical issue where I just had to abandon it and come in onto a different one, which has messed you up completely. So it's not your fault. It's completely not my fault either. It's StreamYard. I'm going to have a word with StreamYard.
Quite a good morning this morning. So anybody who doesn't know, this is a video of Finn from earlier on. So this is a stage that lots of people have have warned us about. They've said as they start to get more confident, more mobile, and start to make adaptations, they can get a little bit cheeky and try and push themselves a little bit too much. So we obviously he needs to have exercise, otherwise all his muscle will go, but it's all very controlled. So we are looking after him, and his physio is pleased with him. She's very pleased with him. Little things like we have to tickle his toes as many times as we can in a day. So poor little bugger. Sometimes he's asleep and you're tickling his toes because we're waiting. We want the messages to keep going back to his back end. And yeah, he wakes up as if to say, "Can you not just stop, please? Stop fiddling with my feet." What else we have to do? Range of movement stuff. He has physio twice a week, and he's starting his hydro on Tuesday, I think. So the boy is pushing on and doing very well, bless him.
It's going in the right direction, isn't he? It's going in the right direction. He'll be catching criminals again before long. I'm sure
if it's anything like Finn's other recoveries from all the other things he's had, he's going to come back stronger than ever, because he always tends to. But on all these other recoveries, he's caught a baddie on his first shift back, so I'm not quite sure what he's going to do this time around.
Cool.
There he is in the background, being cheeky, doing stuff he shouldn't be doing.
Oh, can't see him, but Lily was saying spent the evening with Finn last Saturday. That was cool.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, look at it. bless his heart. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah, good. Nice one, mate. Really glad to hear that. Oh, I think we need to say a happy birthday to Arthur Smith, don't you?
We do. Yeah, our very good friend Arthur Smith. I think it's 28 this year. Hopefully he'll be out celebrating. He'll be out celebrating, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really good. Really
You
good.
I mean, happy birthday, which was terrible. But,
I did.
Hopefully it made him smart.
I thought it was excellent. Excellent. I thought it was.
I thought it was awful, but
there we go.
Finn,
there's the man himself. Arthur Smith. He is. Oh, you can hire Arthur Smith. You can book him now. He's top man. Top man. He was really good when we were in Chester, wasn't he? We got to know him a little bit and realised what an absolute star that man is. You know, real thoughtful guy.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Whether he's attached to Harry and I or not, I'd recommend anybody go see him if they get the opportunity, because he is awesome.
Speaking of that, very quickly, we'll just add this one that's coming up. So this one's March. We're going to be Dave and I are going to be together. Could be someone we just going to be asking someone to host it very shortly, actually. But Palace Theatre, 12th of March. It's a bit of a like Chester, but it's down in Paignton with Dave and my good self there. We're going to have a nice evening down there, aren't we, mate?
We are, mate. Yeah, we definitely are.
That's what we're doing.
Looking forward to that.
Come and join us.
The weather will be a bit nicer.
Yeah, speaking of the weather, Arwen, speaking of the weather, it's been, I heard it's been a little bit of it's been a lot of fuss made about it, hasn't there? But quite rightly, it's horrendous. Are we getting these things every year now, aren't we? Pretty much.
Yeah, we've always had storms, haven't we? But I think they're worried that storms are going to start getting worse. Hopefully we live in such a middle of the ground place when it comes to weather that it won't affect us too much like some of the other places. Look at that, though.
No injury on this one, luckily. Scotland police. That is too close for comfort, that. And that could be just... I saw a similar car to that had been run over by a post office van, a massive lorry, 23 ton or above, rather, and on the motorway, and they were just out of the car because it was sunny. They'd have been sat in the car otherwise. So I don't know what the story is behind that, but oh my god, it's a lucky one, that one.
Yeah,
she probably didn't sleep too well that night because it looks like it is on a scene somewhere.
It looks like the emergency services, not just the police, will have been probably stretched to the extreme over the last 24 hours. And I think they're due to be for this evening as well. And it's all hands to the pump. What happened? It's all hands to the pump, isn't it? On a night like tonight.
This was a little bit, a couple of days. No, yesterday I think it was. Nice mouth on me. I'll only play it for a bit because it's a bit loud. See, can't hear a word I'm saying. I'm basically saying,
that's a great place to be then. If you can't hear Harry, that's a great, I think we should all be there.
So rude. So rude. I think there was a little guy on there who could hear me over there. But I was facing. This is Lusty Glaze. And what? I'm going to just play some more on that. Just in
It's amazing to think.
Yeah, I was basically. Oh, that's nice bit of spit on my mouth. That's nice. That's lifeboat, and when you think lifeboats are going out and stuff like that, it's absolutely incredible, really, isn't it? People say, I hope people aren't going near the edge. Yeah, don't be an idiot and go near the edge, is what we're saying. I mean, I'm on the top of a 100-foot cliff, so it's unlikely I'm going to be washed in there, and the wind on that was certainly wasn't blowing me offshore, so that was fine as well. So, but yeah, it's worth.
Surf looks good though.
Oh, mate, somebody I was talking to who's a very professional surfer, just before it got really bad, he said how he actually came. The beach is along Towan Beach, and they surf along Towan Beach quite a lot. And he said the wave was so perfect, he actually surfed right into the harbour.
Whoa.
Which is a pretty impossible thing to do normally. There you go. That's I think it was at Arden or something where it's cool. Look at that. That's a bit close to comfort, isn't it? These lifeboat crew, they are phenomenal, aren't they?
They are,
phenomenal.
and they'll be out working hard, and the the police and the ambulance and the no doubt
Dunbar. They were in
fire
Dunbar.
force
That
will
was.
all be out there working hard tonight and last night, because normal whatever normal is, normal policing and 999 stuff goes out the window a little bit, doesn't it, when you have a real stormy night like we've had last night and we're going to have tonight. Even dog handlers, even firearms officers go to other jobs. Because you don't know what you're going to come across. You could come down the road and find someone's driven into a tree, or we've had people stuck in flash floods and all sorts, and it really is all hands.
I personally I loved it because crime tended to stop, because we had like 4x4s, and and it was just battling the elements, and it was nice going to people who are completely stranded and quite frightened or whatever, and you turn up and you've got all the access to all the equipment, you've got radio, you can get more specialists there, and it's quite a nice position to be in for once, as opposed to just dealing with the usual rigmaroles of policing, actually. So I used to love a bit,
Get your tracking line out and use it for something other than tracking, whether it be pulling a car out of somewhere or pulling a tree out of the road or something like that. And of course, you used to do Operation Snowblower or whatever it was every
Snow Commander. I was a snow commander. It was a very tough course, mate. Very tough course, but somebody had to do it. I mean, it's true. I mean, at one point in Devon and Cornwall many years ago, we got 1,000 cars stuck in a big dipper because we don't have the facilities to bring people out in their two-wheel drive vehicles. But luckily, I've checked the weather forecast. Everything's calming down a bit. It's going to be freezing cold weather. There's wet weather coming down the east coast. But other than that, it's going to be sort of okay. Yeah, you are. You're going to get.
It's supposed to be snowing now, but I can't see it. The kids are very disappointed.
Tell us what Muddy Wet Spaniel is.
So, Muddy Wet Spaniel, inspired by it's a project that's inspired by a number of animals that I've come across in my life, and a few characters that are fictitious characters, and basically all these animals have got stories and messages behind them. They're messages for all of us, stories that hopefully everyone will enjoy right across the ages, and there's lots of little spin-offs that will come off of Muddy Wet Spaniel. If you've ever met a spaniel, you'll understand that they are always, or they would always like to be, muddy and wet. I mean, my spaniel, she's never happier than when she's sitting in a muddy, wet puddle. And it's
aren't we all?
Yeah, and to have a little bit of that character in life, I think is to be encouraged. Getting out there, being a bit crazy. I always say, if I could come back as anything, I would come back as a well-loved muddy wet spaniel, and that's where it comes from, really, because they just love life. And there's all sorts of lessons that these animals are going to bring. You'll hear about them more soon. There's a parrot called Roxy. There's an otter family. There's all sorts of wonderful characters, and they all sort of live in the same area in and around North Devon. We'll bring them all to life, and we'll bring all the stories together, and you'll see how they all interact with each other. But at the moment, they're starting with some Christmas cards. Harry just showed you one that are available on Fabulous Finn's website, fabulousfin.com. And if you get on there and order the Christmas cards, they'll be with you very soon. There they are. Muddy Wet Spaniel.
Lovely. Thank you, my friend. Keep an eye on that then. It should be good.
Yeah.
Other things that have been going on, Harper's Law that came in. I was on LBC very early in the morning. But pre-recorded it because they weren't allowed to release the information until midnight. But basically, Harper's Law, for anyone, the précis of it is obviously Andrew Harper, who was killed by those three men who were stealing quad bikes and things. And he turned up, and his foot was caught in a rope, and he was dragged behind the car for over a mile, and he was dragged to his death, basically. It's pretty clear that you can't really drag someone like that without knowing about it. Anyway, they got sentences, I think about 16 years, 13 years and similar, I think, and wanted to try to appeal it now. So basically, Lizzie Harper, and this happened in August 2019, and Lizzie Harper, his wife of just 1 month, just under a month, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so she raised this to say, look, this just isn't good enough. The fact if you're committing a crime or just after committing a crime, you then end up killing a police officer, even if there's no absolute intent to do so. But usually there's a lot of neglect. I mean, I've had cars driven at me and all sorts. They will do all they can to get away, and they don't care about the uniform that is no longer a human being, or if it is, if they realize it's a human being, which of course they do, they don't care. And so this has to stop. My argument, Dave, on LBC was with the sort of certain media and social media, all this one-way traffic about misogyny, racism, wrong stop searches, these handful of horrendous cases that have occurred where officers have just been criminals in uniform. It's one-way traffic, and before you know it, I mean, even the lady in the cafe that I had a coffee with was saying, well, I don't know whether it's safe to tell my daughter to go to the police. I mean, it makes me so frustrated, as I'm sure it does you, Dave. But so it means it's even more dangerous for police officers to go out there because the criminals feel, well, we've got carte blanche. The world hates these cops.
This has been. I mean, I don't like to get political, but this anti-police thing has been coming for a while, and it was a certain Home Secretary who then became a Prime Minister that really encouraged it. And I still can't work out what her reasoning behind giving it away, what her reasoning behind it was, but she was going after stuff that happened in the 60s to really encourage that anti-press.
I mean, no doubt it destroyed policing as it was. I mean, yes, there was 20,000 less officers, but 30,000 less civilians. And so guess who's doing those civilians jobs? Well, some of them you could say, well, we're not doing them, but a lot of them, the police are. And so they're doing their own jobs and doing these other jobs, or things aren't being done as effectively, which is, guess what? Crime prevention, the intel side of things. So, of course, they're trying to get a lot more police in there, but there's just as many leaving, in my view. I don't know what exact figures are, but there's not many figures on those who've joined and then left, which we need to establish as well. But ultimately, so Harper's Law says that you will have a mandatory life sentence if you end up having just committed a crime or just after committing a crime, or just doing it, rather. You then end up killing somebody. And that is all party support, and it is coming through. There is the option to have a life sentence for manslaughter anyway, but that is not the starting point. And so the starting point is life sentence from now on. So good on Lizzie Harper for that one. And it will make police officers either... Yeah,
this is what was used. I mean, this is a wooden one made by Mick, my friend. This is what we used against Finn and I. And if Finn hadn't done what he'd done, this was aimed towards this part of my body, I wouldn't be here now. So Harper's Law for me is hugely important. A shame as ever, like with Finn's Law, that it took something so horrible for it to come about. I have to take my hat off to Lizzie. And I have to take my hat off to Thames Valley Police Federation, who have conducted themselves impeccably through their campaign. There's no room for nastiness in campaigning. And that's something that we learned very early on.
And you'll always get somebody who wants to.
Yeah, we've watched people do campaigns for many, many years, and they've got no traction. And the reason is because they're just so nasty throughout it. And so, as heartbroken as she was, and still is, Lizzie has conducted herself impeccably, and she needs to be very, very proud of herself. And I hope that, hopefully, that maybe she won't want it because it will just be that it's happened, but hopefully she'll get some recognition for what she did, what she's done, what her and her team have done. Because your 999 crews, fire, ambulance, police, nurses, doctors, they're out there. And they do work hard, and they do work hard under some incredibly hard, difficult situations. We don't go to the fluffy stuff. We don't go to the, I can't even think of an example. We go to the hard end of life, and sometimes it can be incredibly hard for those teams. And I've got my fingers crossed, with government backing. If you want a bill to go through, it needs government backing. That's what happened with Finn's Law in the end. That it goes through and it does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah. absolutely. So, no, thank you. That's been really good. The other thing I just wanted to mention, actually, Dave, while we're here, is this was going around a little bit. The football.
Yeah.
This the England match, and you could see there's some quite nice, and these guys here literally kicking the police officers down.
It seems that we've
from
taken
above.
a massive step backwards since the world has opened up again. That certain aspects of the football world has taken massive steps backwards. I mean, these are horrible scenes, horrible. And I think it was Mike, wasn't it, who made us aware that the horse, the mounted and the dog teams and the PSU teams worked incredibly hard that evening and made sure everybody stayed as safe as they possibly could. I think a number of officers were injured, and their chief constable came out and wished them. It was
12 of them, wasn't it? But it was there's footage from the other side of the stadium of the police units coming up and then separating them, and I
don't get it. I honestly don't get it, Harry. I love sport. I love Formula One. I used to like football. I'm not quite so keen now. Rugby. I love rugby. You can go to the rugby and have a beer and sit in the same stand as the opposition and not get into any situations like that. You know, I just don't get that mentality. It's the pack mentality, is it? I don't know. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me that those people they were there to watch the football. They weren't there.
No, they're just very shallow individuals. They're just cowardly because they only work in a big group. They only they have to be in a big group because otherwise they're looking over each other's shoulder, and then they get the bravado of the people behind, so they step forward and try to make a name for themselves. It's pathetic. Really is pathetic. I don't know. We've been trying to solve that problem for a while, haven't we? But it seems to be mainly football. They just don't seem to get it in rugby. No. Can you imagine in rugby?
When they banned all the crowds, you had no trouble. I'm sure it was an absolute delight for everybody when there was no football fans. And that's not to say that every club's like that, because they're not like that. But I know that there were some problems at the Queen's Park Rangers and the Luton match last week. But I know there's some very family-friendly clubs out there. So, to the people out there who do enjoy football, then, I think it detracts from the game for you guys. And I just think it's very sad. I never used to enjoy. I haven't done football duties for a while, but I never used to enjoy it. I always thought that the atmosphere was always horrible. It was always like something was brewing. And
There's a bit in my Farms and Fatals when I thought I was being a real hero. I had a group of guys, I don't know, about eight of us or something. We were told to go and just form a wall at the back of the stadium, Plymouth. I was Plymouth, Stoke, or whatever. I don't know. It was usually had a little bit of a problem. And they said, you've got to get there at all costs and create this wall, because otherwise these fans are going to mix. And so it was like, come on, lads, went through the door, lined up. This massive crowd came towards us. And it was like, Casco's out, and it was like, challenge, get back, sort of thing like that. And it was like, hold the line. It was like 8 of us and about 100 of them. And not quite 800 of them. And then they immediately just stopped. They stopped. And of course, I then looked behind, and there's a massive, great tactical aid group unit behind us with big stars. And then the sergeant went, Harry, you might want to come behind us, mate.
I'll tell you what, I had a situation similar to that, although when I turned around, there was no one there. So there was 3 dogs. We were I can't remember who Luton were playing, but we were in Luton, and they'd managed to come together in a flashpoint, which is always a flashpoint, but no one had seen it coming. We weren't far away, so we literally forced our way through the crowds and got 3 dogs out. There was a little bit of a faux pas by one of the handlers who they'd put the dog's harness on, and the dog managed to slip out of it and was then running free, which shocked everybody. And whilst that handler was getting hold of her dog, the other 2 of us, I was with the Luton fans and he was with the opposition fans, and they were only probably 3 or 4 meters away at this point because we'd parked our cars strategically in the middle. And I'm holding back, I don't know, 80 fans or something like that. And it was with Finn, little old Finn, because he's tiny. I mean, he's got a big attitude, but little old Finn. And I had that moment where I looked behind me thinking, oh, there must be loads of people behind me, because all of a sudden they stopped being quite so brave. And I turned around and there was no one there. It was just Finn. just him that was keeping them back, and that sort of it makes you a bit proud, but it also makes your heart beat because you're thinking, "Crikey!"
Because I understand that was it the Luton match that they did have dogs and horses there again, and there was a lot of positive comments about it, saying how effective they were. And this is what bosses have got to start thinking in certain form. I'm not saying in those times because they obviously did very well. So I'm not being specific, but generally, come on, bring back the dogs again, bring back the horses. Stop listening to those who shout the loudest, who've got nothing to say.
It might have been this. It might have been the same match, or no, actually, I think it was another match, another Luton match, where the PSU commander said to us, to the dog unit, you will not be coming onto the pitch. I do not want you in the stadium. Under no uncertain terms will you come into the stadium. I do not want to see the dogs or the handlers or both in the stadium. And about 3/4 of the way through the match, this panicked message came across the radio from the PSU commander saying, "I want the dogs on the pitch now." And it was the dogs that stopped the two opposing fans coming together. And we had a few pound coins thrown at us so that we could buy some drinks. I'm sure that's why they were throwing it, because they could see we were thirsty. So they were throwing the pound coins, telling us to get a drink afterwards. But again, you've got those resources, and they're incredibly effective in a situation like that.
They are indeed, mate. So the more the merrier. It just seems it was really good. They were being used, and then there was a period of time when it was really, I don't know, a lot of people get promoted very highly, and I think lacking experience. You're not, again, I'm not being specific. But generally where things went wrong, and we need to get that experience back again. So I hope people learn from that Luton. There was less injuries and it was better control, and no doubt the ones who are in a position to get bitten are the ones who complain a lot, but they need to stop being listened to. Right, mate, what about this one then? Blimey, how time flies. This is a retweet from one of yours, actually. So this was 2017, was it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because so Mike Pannett, along with a few
Dennis Murray as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. And our friend Kerry.
Yeah, Kerry Blakeman. And lovely people. And what a thing to do, though. It was just really, really good. It's a bit blurred there, actually. So
what's the history? What's the history about the Police Twitter Awards, Harry?
What's the history?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
How did it come about?
What's your winner? What's your win? What's yours say?
Police Twitter Awards. We got another one of these somewhere. So we won the dog. So I'll let Harry explain the history in a little while.
He's just took the wind out of my sails, because I thought you only won.
Harry had won the year before, and I'd been invited. Hey, look at that! I'd been invited down to Harry's, because yours was at Northampton.
Northampton, Northampton.
And Mike invited me down. Do you know what month it was? Would it have been?
Mine was December.
So Finn would have been nearly back to work, but fit and healthy. And Mike asked us if we'd come down, and he said, we could talk about Finn's Law, and we can make a point of it and get some support for you. And I thought that was brilliant. So when we got invited, Harry, and of course Harry won, and that was when Harry and I first met. That's when Harry met Dave, and not Sally.
Love at first sight.
And Harry met Sally. And of course, I was invited along the following year, and I thought it was for the same thing, to just come and raise awareness and meet some people, because quite a lot of the police family knew Finn, so let them have their selfies taken with him. And it was hosted at West Yorkshire by the wonderful Dee Collins, who's now retired, the Chief Constable of West Yorkshire, who's an incredible person. And we won our category, and we won overall, which was just mental.
That's Dee Collins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dee Collins.
Yes. So Harry, I mean, what you won, and what did that mean you got to do?
Oh, well, I went to Los Angeles and spoke at the SMILE conference. It's basically emergency services.
SMILE is social media in law enforcement.
But it isn't. It's social media, internet law enforcement. I saw recently. I googled it because I knew but yours I think is better. But yeah, it was a massive conference in Long Beach, and luckily, I mean, this thing here was given to me by the chief. I was allowed to take over second-hand I couldn't get a brand new helmet, but I could take over a second-hand one.
Yeah,
because and so I took it over, but then I thought, well, I could sell sand to the Arabs. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that nowadays, but I just did. And I could sell ice cream to the Cornish. Now that's not quite the same either. But anyway, because I just said, oh, and this helmet has walked the British streets of the UK, and so suddenly it gave it more credibility. It wasn't just out the thing. So he then got one of these, and we had a photograph of each other, of a selfie of him wearing my hat and I'm wearing his. And I got stopped at customs because they found that hat in my case, and they thought I'd whipped it off a police officer, and an American cop, and stolen it. So I was in the back room, and rubber gloves, not quite. And I just realised I had it on my phone. I went, "Oh, do you recognize this? He's the chief." And he went, "Oh yeah, on you go, sir, no problem."
Lovely.
I thought, thank God I'd taken that selfie, mate.
Yeah.
I have told that one before, but so no, it's really good. A lot of work by Mike and his colleagues there. A lot of work. Good. And
well, actually, mine was the last year, wasn't it? It didn't happen again after that, which is such a huge shame because, we the year we won, we went out to Florida to talk about Finn's Law, and actually there were lawmakers there, and they were inspired to go off and do their own law for service animals, which had a 7-year maximum sentence. So it's a lot of good that can come from something as simple as that. Of course, we joked immediately after, because actually Finn is the winner. It was his account that won, not me. I've never won anything. And we joked immediately after that we'd have to try and get Finn out there, and everyone was like, well, yeah, of course you will, because he won, not you. So we spoke to some airlines. Virgin tried really hard but couldn't do it. An American airline said, yeah, we fly animals all the time. Of course he can come. Of course he can sit next to you on the plane. So he sat next to me on the plane out to Florida and back, and was impeccably behaved, as you can imagine. Amazing. And we had a great time, but also like to think that we did some good out there. And I think that's the key point with social media. Yes, there's some goofs and goons out there, and there's some anonymous police accounts that need to be shut down because they're run by morons. But there's some amazing good that can be done by police on social media, for sure.
Absolutely, mate. And there's just a little bit of proof. Haven't got him on the jet ski with you, but
there he is. Downtown Miami.
That is a well-traveled dog. You cannot complain that he's not achieved much in his life, can he? Really?
No.
So he's done pretty damn well. Good,
hopefully
mate.
He's got hopefully he's got a couple of big projects next year. I can't tell you about them yet, unfortunately. But if he carries on improving the way he is, then he will be front and center of those as well. So still doing stuff to leave a legacy. But I can't tell you anything more. Sorry.
Cool. Well, I spoke at Exeter College to the public services students there, so that was good bunch. I like doing that because you see the next generation coming through, and so that could be police, military, or whatever, or they might do something completely different. But what it does is, of course, there's a couple of levels. You've got the more academic ones that do more theory, like my son did. He did a level that was less academic, but then he did a year of that then brought him into the fully academic one with public services, and it just prepared him for interviews and getting fit and knowing what it was like in the big wide world. So they really had a good idea of what it's like to join. It wasn't going to be such a culture shock when they go down and do their assessments and interviews and things. So well, hopefully we should be getting an interview.
I think next Friday I've got a chat with Keele University about campaigning. They've got a professor, Dr. Daniel Allen, who's incredible, who's doing his own campaign at the moment about dog theft, and so he's asked if we'll come along and virtually come along and do a chat to his group about campaigning and how we did our campaign. Again, touching on it earlier, we were talking about Lizzie, because there are lots of people that campaign in lots and lots of different ways. All I know is our way. We were obviously very successful, so hopefully I can impart a little bit of knowledge about that. The BBC in here. The BBC in here.
Did you?
last weekend. Yeah, last
Right.
weekend. No, I can't remember when it was now. Last week, last Friday. There we go. Last Friday we had the BBC in here for something that's coming out next year. So busy.
Can you get Tia in it to let her know what
Yes. Yeah.
what she's doing?
Come on over. So those of you who don't know, this is my amazing daughter Tia, who's a bit of a dog trainer, aren't you? So what are you doing, Tia? What do people need to know about?
So starting on Wednesday, on the 1st of December, I'm doing a countdown to Christmas. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a trick every day till Christmas.
A dog trick.
A dog trick, dog games, and some useful things to do with your dog.
So stuff that you can teach your dog in the 25 steps till Christmas. She did it last year and it was hugely successful. We were in lockdown and everybody was bored, and it was so successful that she's been asked to do it
brilliant.
This year.
So I'm doing it again this year.
So when is it going to be?
It's starting on Wednesday. It will be a pre-recorded video put on
every day
in the mornings, or even late afternoon.
So yeah, you can all join Tia and teach your dog some new bits, and Tia would obviously love to see how you're doing. And if you want a taster, you can have a look at my YouTube, which is Dave Wardell, and see the 25 tricks that Tia did last Christmas to give you a bit of an idea of what's coming up.
Cool. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. No, good. I saw quite a few of those last year actually, which were brilliant. So Arthur only was brilliant at 24 of them. He couldn't get the 20.
Yeah, Tia's brilliant. She's been out today in the freezing, driving rain, training her dog and another dog. So
I mean, that is dedication. That is dedication. Somebody asked my sister travelled her rescue dogs and cat from the USA to the UK and back again when she trained as a vet over there. So that's pretty impressive. But I bet, did they go? They can't go in the hold, can they? Because it's all, or can they go in the hold?
Oh, they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah. So there's lots of misinformation about dogs travelling in the hold. And there is a part of the hold that is the same temperature as the cabin, and the airport is the same as the cabin. But we worked very hard to make sure that Finn was going to be flew to Miami. Yeah, he did, Jill. Flew to Miami to see Finn. We worked very hard to make sure that Finn was sat next to us on the bus. I say very hard. We didn't work very hard at all because American Airlines were just like, yeah, of course. Tia, can you grab him some food? He's hungry.
Did he? So people often wonder what did he do to the toilet then, or whatever, or did he just cross his legs?
Finn. So we gave him as many opportunities as we could. Both airports, Miami and Heathrow. Finn, hey, gave us as many opportunities as we could to get him to the outside to the toilet. But he was fine. He didn't want to go. Even when we landed in Miami, it's only a 7-hour, 50-minute flight. When we landed in Miami, they took us to a secure spot so that he could have a wee. He didn't go. Once we got through passport control, which was very quick because we had a service dog with us, so we got to the front of the queue. Then, when we got straight out of the airport, we found a yellow fire hydrant, and I'm thinking, this is brilliant. This is a great.
Yeah, this will be it.
He wasn't interested, so then we drove. We picked up our hire car and drove to the hotel, which is probably about another half an hour away. And then he finally went for a wee. So, no, he was brilliant.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I know we've rushed back for Arthur now and then, where we were delayed or something. We got back and it's like 10 hours later. And we're like, oh my God, the poor dog. And he opened the door and we think he's going to go running out, or else he's just wet himself somewhere. We'd feel like very bad parents. And he just comes out and he goes, and then he just wanders back in again. He's like not bothered. It is surprising, but not something we repeat too often. But yes. See, that's a very good point. Dave can. I think he can speak. Dog speak. So he thinks Fenn is telling us about secrets for next year. I know he's got quite a few things going on.
Yeah, you wait and see. It's brilliant stuff. It's great legacy stuff. So fingers crossed it comes off.
Good. Well, your place looks like a little Santa's grotto back there already. So
he's got
much
Santa
more
in
inviting and warm. Yeah, looks like much more inviting and warm there with its with your big leather chair there and dartboard and see, it's nice. It looks nice. I bet you never use your house now, do you?
Well, we can't use it at the moment because we're having carpets and we've had work done and we're having carpets fitted. So everything that's normally upstairs and in the loft is currently downstairs in the living room and in the dining room. So you can't actually use the house other than to cook and to sleep. So, we're looking forward for everything to be back to normal for Christmas. But the kids are putting the decorations up in here in a little while once this is over. So I know it's probably a couple of days too early for some people, but you can't tell my kids. They're very excited. And Gemma is too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Christmas, I've got two brothers who are sort of, we're basically the brothers. We're all meeting up for Christmas in Norway on my brother's boat in Bergen. That's where we're spending our Christmas. 3 grumpy old men on a boat with a
lovely, Jack Russell. Sounds perfect.
It does, mate. I'm so looking forward to it. I am so looking forward to it. My other brother's coming from France. I'm coming from England. And we're going to Norway. So, so we're looking forward to that. Excuse me. Our beautiful rescue from Afghanistan. There's quite a few dogs that have been rescued from other countries and things like that, isn't it? Now, is there any news on that at all?
No, I mean, Nowzad are all here now. All the staff and everything are here. So they managed, the staff had to literally escape the country, I think, via the Pakistani border.
Wow.
So, yeah, they had it. Funnily enough, Gemma took the girls to an award ceremony where Finn was nominated. He didn't win. And Nowzad won their award. And they were there with all the staff and Gemma and Penn from Nowzad Penn Farthing had a good catch up and a cuddle. He's lovely, Penn. He looks very relaxed now. He's out of Afghanistan and all that nastiness and danger over there. Oh,
can you imagine? I bet
completely
on edge all the time, no doubt. It's quite frightening indeed. Just having a quick look. So I think we're okay for the weather now anyway. That's not going to be a problem as it was. There's a couple of officers have been assaulted and things, which has not been very nice at all. The motorway scenes these are some quite good motorway scenes from a little while ago. That was 3:10. Now I remember these scenes like this.
Oh wow.
Now I came up from Cornwall and I came across this sort of tracks in front of you, and you just go really gently but there's still cars ploughing on. You think, well, one little bend and they're spiraling into the countryside.
Where was that, Harry?
This was up to north, lad. I'll just find out where it was because it was from there we go. It was from Northwest Motorway Police.
Right. Blimey. Yeah, it always made me laugh. I remember having a chat with an old neighbour. He had a 4x4 and he was showing off that he could drive in weather like that. And I said, look, all that's going to happen is your bigger and heavier vehicle is going to slide off the road at just the same speed. So 4-wheel drive is definitely handy, but it doesn't mean you can take the mickey with it, does it?
No, exactly. I mean, I've driven Range Rovers in the past, and they are inch perfect wherever you want to go. The X5s, I found they went exactly where you wanted them to go, but they often go sideways. But they get there eventually. I do remember having a very lucky. I came off the A30 and it was in the snow, and the off slip was downhill, and there was a queue in front of me. And you go over the brow, there's a queue. Whereas I am naively expecting it to be clear because there's not a lot of traffic about. There was a queue that had been stuck there. And I'm heading for the back of it. And my car's not slowing down a bit. So I then go up along the side and then find a gap between the queue that goes through the queue down onto the junction.
Wow.
I missed them all. And then I just sat at the junction as if I'd meant to do it and then turned right. And then my heart was like, You do not want the police car being the cause of it. And it was so frustrating because we've been so careful up to then. And it, just caught me out, really. So look at these. Northwest Motorway Police are phenomenal. They've got 203,000 followers. So if you don't follow them, you need to follow them because that is a phenomenal following for something with the word motorway in it. Isn't it?
It is amazing.
Incredible.
What are you up to this weekend then, Harry?
I'm doing quite a bit of stuff because basically my sort of new line of work is sort of doing lecturing and that side of things, but also with CAN Communications I'm working with. So part of promoting people and projects, and usually police related, hopefully. So we're looking at that, and we did that short film that was really successful, and that's going to go into the more educational side of things as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's just quite interesting. But yeah, I'm just putting myself out there for universities and things, because I did lucky enough to do Eton College online. They asked me to have a chat with them for an hour, and all about policing and perseverance, because people assume that I just, although I didn't go through the ranks, there's plenty of people who just want to achieve what they want to do in the police, and that sort of age group is perfect, and criminology students and that sort of things, because I've spoken at Exeter University, and the message I get is they just love to have someone there who's actually been through it and done it. Yeah. And we'll be quite honest with them with the answers and things. So, and I put across there's quite a few very sort of attractive photographs and things. It's certainly not a long and boring sort of presentation I do, hopefully, but it seems to go down very well. And I just vary it and change it. But yeah, so that's what I'm sort of doing at the moment, but doing very much the management consultancy and that side of things. Cool. What are you up to then, mate? So I'm just getting my paperwork and all that sorted out, and getting the CVs sorted out.
Yeah, just pushing some more Muddy Wet Spaniel stuff, and perhaps doing a bit of writing, and then I've got some dog training tomorrow, and doing Finn's physio homework, making sure that he's ticking along quite nicely, and then hopefully a little bit of time to relax with the family, because all the Christmas films are out now.
Oh yeah. I know Becky watches those all the way through the year. Amazing. But once you get past sergeant, there's very few inspector jobs that you're really on front line. There are a few, but and even some sergeants, you can find work to stay off the street. I find that. But look, Rose is saying this. Thank you, Rose. My 6 foot cutout. I should have used it for April Fool, actually. Where I've just said, basically, I came across this. Sometimes I look in the old photographs. I took an awful lot of photographs when I was in the job, and for using. And then when it's been quite useful, because you go back and you think, God, I did take an awful lot of photographs, really. And so it's quite useful. No, that's true. So they're quite useful to use again and things like that, but especially the shooting ones, the wet weather ones, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm just trying to find it for you, actually, Rose, on that. Oh, we must mention this one as well. Loom Books. This is a good one from Mike Pannett, Crime Squad. Sure, everyone just follows Mike Pannett there. It's terrifying expose of police work in Britain's capital. Former officer Mike Pannett chronicles London's drugs war and the hunt for his colleague's murder that will ultimately claim another life and test Mike's bravery to the limit. It's a phenomenal story there. Genuine.
Great writer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
14 books or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got phenomenal. One thing I will say, if you want to laugh, which I haven't checked them all again to see if they're appropriate for this, but I'll save Dave's blushes. But just have a look on my Twitter account, nicknames. So this was November the 25th. Absolutely hilarious and possibly inappropriate in some of them, but nothing outrageous by any means.
I've seen this video. It's very funny.
Oh, it's just so funny. It's the imagination with some nicknames is absolutely brilliant. So and Nick, excuse me, Nick Hadley did a brilliant thing. If you haven't seen, here's one. He's ex-forces, thought he was invincible, never for 1 second thought he would suffer from mental health. And so, he certainly said he did, but he, like someone else I know, went and got it checked out, sorted. Now he understands it, and so he's very happy with it now. He's sort of well settled with it. And the message there is don't just ignore it, and it won't just go away if you ignore it. You need to tackle it head on. That's the crucial thing there. And I think I spared you the cutout. So, guys, I think that's it. Shall we say we'll call it a wrap?
Yep. Lovely to see you. Hopefully, Harry can sort out the tech for next week.
I might have to do a really, I think what I'll probably do, Dave, is sometime do a random test which links all of them, literally just for 30 seconds to see if it picks up on that one again. All right, when I think I've solved it. So apologies for all that messing about earlier. Really annoying for you more than even us, I imagine. But thanks for making it back and getting back to us. It's really appreciated. And we'll catch you all later. Cheers. We'll leave you from Dave's grotto there.